Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Lorraine 15551. It's the Tier 8 French SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Clip and it's under the command of Red Dog Alpha 1. Now this little Arty is based on the Lorraine 40-ton tank. It never got built because unfortunately the Lorraine 40-ton tank didn't get built, so there was no hulls for them to work with. But it's armed with a 155mm howitzer, capable of doing 680 alpha and penetrating 45mm of armour. Standard reload 28.76 seconds, and we can see that Red Dog Alpha 1's got it down to 25.46, so he's knocked 3 seconds off the reload time, and he's not using premium consumables, so he could actually do that, and he'd get an even better reload. Okay, again, he's another of these players who scroll out. Don't worry about it. I've done it myself many times, but once I learned the trick of using the left-hand control key, hold that down, then move the mini-mouse over the mini-map, little mouse cursor over the mini-map where you want to look, and you right-click, and at that point, the view goes straight away to where you want to see. And it's so effective. You don't have to scroll out at all like this. To get to see the enemies, you go straight to them right away, first time. Okay, we can see a bear on the front of that Reveillerise, or ravioli as Jingles called it. In fact, actually, they were called ravioli. Oh, yes, that was a splash directly behind him for 225. I think he was kind of hoping it either went long or the shot would actually... the enemy would actually stop and go backwards, but as it is, he managed to get away with only a minor hit. Could have been massively hit. Gonna try and hit the tiger. Oh, zap past his turret. But it looked like it went slightly to the right of the vehicle. Now you notice he's moving backwards and forwards on the same spot. Of course, that will fool the enemy to a certain extent because, of course, they might think he's pull back or pull further forward, but after a while they will get to know that you are actually doing the same thing every time, and they might work out where you're going to be next. That was a good hit. Yep, he definitely hit the front of the E75TS, which of course is a Lerba by any other name. Still smells as sweet. Sorry, Shakespeare. Hey, what's he doing? Oh, right, okay, dialing in. The Reveillerise is underneath in defilade at the moment. We can't hit him, but we can certainly hit this E75, and we might be able to get the Leo. Okay, I think the Leo's gone past now, but he's trying for the E75, and the shell went long. I found that what you can do is you can mix it up with the enemy by moving slightly over to the right where the little fences are, knock those down. He might think you're in the bushes over to the other side. In the meantime, we're having a look for the enemy Arty. They've been spotted. There's an M44. He's trying to escape. Unfortunately, he's not going to get very far because he's got a predictable course. There we go. Rounds out. Yep, that's got him. It looks like the shell landed right in front of him, but the splash was enough to finish him off. And we're 3 up on the enemy now. The enemy's still got one Arty though. It's an FB207. He's probably near the cap area. Okay, we're looking at that E75TS. We can't see the impact point for the last shell, but he's dialing in, almost ready. Rounds out. This should be good. Oh! Well, it tracked him. That's for sure. He managed to get 196 off that one. And I dare say, if he's lucky, he might get some stun assist as well. But we haven't really got any teammates close enough to actually get some shots on him. In the meantime, we're looking at the Leo, who's a little further back on the cliff edge, waiting for him to stay still long enough. Rounds out. People do wonder why I say rounds out, but it's really down to sort of like let people know when the shell's gone, because there's such a long delay between our shells actually being fired and then reaching the target. They do. They take forever sometimes. You've got to remember, these shells are arcing up through the sky and then traveling over the map to the other end. And really, sometimes it can be amazing watching those shells arc through the sky and realizing, obviously, that they actually hit the target within a couple of seconds of being fired. Okay, FV207 rounds out. This should be a counter battery. Oh, it hit him, but it didn't kill him. It definitely hit him. We're only 2 up on the enemy now. And that Reveler Resay is in a dangerous position for us, because if he actually comes up the slope, he might be able to look over the edge and see us. But we can ram a shell right up his rear. Stand by for enema. He fires it in. Yes! That was brutal. 439 hit points. I think that shell went through his rear. I'm pretty sure. Oh, now that hurt. That really did hurt. Okay, no enemy in sight now. There is an Achilles somewhere in the vicinity. And that's where, at the moment, Red Dog Alpha 1's looking. He's expecting his teammates to spot the Achilles. Oh, he pulled back. He pulled all the way back. He turned around and went the other way. In fact, there are some enemy tanks over here. There's the E75TS, the one that we've hit several times before. It's backing up. Okay, stop. Rounds out. Should hit. Lands in front of him, stuns him. Our teammate should be in a position to get a shot on him. Now the FV207's been killed, so he doesn't have to move back into cover now. It's not necessary. He can stay where he is and be quite happy. They can't counter battery him anymore. Well, we just lost our Hellcat up at the center line. Lining up a shot in the E75. Oh, he stopped. Rounds out. Long flight time. Well, didn't get anything from that one, but it might have been a bit of splash. Yeah, we've got a Tiger 1 come back up. That's the one who was there originally, but he pulled back. I think he was trying to stop people coming around the hill. There's the Achilles. We can definitely do something to him. He's got thin armor. Rounds out. Yep, he's out the game. So that's the 3rd kill for Red Dog Alpha 1. The Tiger's a one-shot now. And he's gone. And that means now the enemy team's only got a box tank and the E75TS that we keep firing at. I go for the box tank if you can, because there's a better chance you might actually be able to get a Confederate out of this if you've hit more of the enemy. There's the E75. Rounds out straight away. And yes, a nice bit of splash. 178. The box tank must be up on the heights. Surely. He's not in sight. Oh, he's there at the back, and now the E75 is the last remaining enemy. 1 versus 4. But he's still coming on. Oh, and he takes out our P43. And he's going after the TL1 LPC. He rams him to death. Now it's just us and the Churchill 7. We're waiting for load. Come on, put a shell in there. He's getting closer and closer. We can do this. And now the Churchill's gone. So it's down to Red Dog Alpha 1 to save the day. Rounds out. Yes, he wins the game. Arty saves the day. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a 2nd class tanker for Red Dog Alpha 1 in the Lorraine 155 mle.51, the Arty designed in 1951. He managed to get a fighter badge for taking out at least 4 enemy tanks. That's what he got. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 11 in that one. And his win rate from the battle was 2,476, but I think the rest of the team owes him a pint because he saved them. At the end of the day, when they'd all been wiped out, he was the last one alive on his team, and he finished off the last enemy with his next shot. So very well done to Red Dog Alpha 1. You saved the game for your teammates. Let's have a look at team score. He didn't get the highest damage in the game. That went to that last enemy, the E75TS. He managed 4,042 hit points of damage and picked up a high caliber. The second highest damage in the game went to the Churchill 7, which was the last remaining tank on our team. He got 2,287 hit points and got a Confederate. And the third highest damage in that one went to the box tank on the enemy team with 2,071. So he was being quite an effective sniper from the back of the map. We can see the Red Dog Alpha 1 managed to get 1,838 hit points in that game. So he didn't get the highest damage. All but 2 of the enemy and all but 2 in his own team managed to get him. So he's in 5th place overall. But when it came to kills, he's in he's actually in 2nd place because the TL1 LPC and the E75TS both managed to get 5 kills apiece. So they both finished off 1/3 of the enemy team on their team. And then we've got Red Dog Alpha 1 with 4 kills and the M4A1 Rebel Arise on the enemy team with 3 kills. So he was in 3rd place. When it came to base XP, it's the Churchill 7 who did the best with 1,090. 997 went to the TL1 LPC. 921 went to the ELC 790. And we can see Red Dog Alpha 1 got 737. I think that's mainly down to the fact that he didn't get a whole lot of stun assist out of that game, but he did do a fair amount of damage. Let's have a look at the detail. He got 16 shots off in the game, 4 direct hits on the enemy and 1 penetration. Now, I'm pretty sure we did see that penetration shot. I think it might have been, no, it wasn't the FV207. So who did he actually pen in that game? No? Was it the M44? No. So who did he pen? Oh, he penned the Rebel Arise in the end. He got 664 over it. So one of his shots actually did hit the hull of that Rebel Arise. And yes, it did kill him. Let's have a look at the rest of the detail. He also got 12 splashes on the enemy, 1,838 hit points, and all of it was at more than 300 meters. Damaged 6 in the enemy, killed 4, did 292 hit points of stun assist off 9 stuns. So, yeah, not a lot of stun assist, and that's why it's only a 2nd class. He did get 18,624 credits on a free-to-play account, and after ammunition resupply, only came away with 704 credits profit. But it is a profit. 737 base XP times 3 for the first victory took away 2,211 experience points altogether. But of course, as I said, the rest of the team owes him a pipe because he definitely saved their necks and brought them a victory. So well done to Red Dog Alpha 1. Here's the armor profile for the Lorraine 15551. It is basically a medium tank which has been converted into an Arty, or it was going to be, but it actually never was. The howitzer is actually mounted a little further forward than on the Lorraine 15550, which was designed the year before, but you can see the armor is actually fairly good. It's 40mm on the lower plate, coming out at about, oh, you can see there, it comes up to about 110 at one point. On the front plate, or the upper plate rather, it's 40mm impacted armor, but because it's angled, it's coming out at about 53. You can see there's no armor really there except those gun shields that actually sit around the gun. The size of the vehicle, 30mm, well, that's what you'd expect on a medium tank. And it's the same virtually all the way down to the back. And then we've got the rear of the vehicle, which is 25mm, but it is angled, so it's coming out at 30. But the back here, again, 20mm, engine deck, 20mm. If you hit this vehicle with an Arty shell and it lands on top, it's more than likely going to go straight through and give you a pen right away. So let's have a quick look at the live model, because we do that now. Yes, it's basically saying the thickest armor is at the front of the vehicle, but if you actually manage to get a shot at the sides, yes, you will go through that, no problem whatsoever. Just don't aim for the tracks. Try and get the top of the vehicle if you can, because the shell will go straight through. Let's have a look at the modules. Okay, on this one, we've got the gunner is on the right-hand side of the tank. We've got the tank commander sitting behind the driver, not behind the gunner. And we've got 2 loaders sitting at the back feeding the shells into the breech. The ammo rack is actually in that tall bit right in the center. Of course, it needs to be near the breech of the gun, and the howitzer is mounted further forward, so the ammo needs to be further forward as well. The engine is mounted in the center of the vehicle with the transmission going to the back drive wheel, and there's a fuel tank right at the back of the tank. So if you get behind a Lorraine 15550 and fire into the rear, you'll more than likely set it alight. But if you aim for the area where you'd normally expect the turret to be, you might get an ammo rack by actually hitting them. The radio is, funnily enough, on the right-hand side of the tank, which is a bit of an oddity there, because you'd think the radio would be next door to the tank commander, but he's on the other side of the vehicle. So, a bit strange that. You'd think that the commander would have his radio near him, but they're expecting the gunner to do the radio instead. How odd. Anyway, but that's the modules on Lorraine 15551. We've got another replay coming up from Red Dog Alpha 1. I'll put that in a separate video, so please do watch that one shortly. If you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.